Good evening, I'm David Allard. It's being called revolutionary, a specially developed vaccine for people with advanced skin cancer. The needle-free treatment encourages the immune system to attack cancer cells and stop the disease returning, and a trial is currently underway in Southampton. Around 20,000 people a year are diagnosed with skin cancer or melanoma. That's a rise of more than 30% in the past decade. It's now the fifth most common cancer in the UK, and rates are continuing to rise. More on that in a moment. But first, our health correspondent Alastair Fee has been to meet some of those taking part in the vaccine trial.
Good morning, Paul.
Hello, Anna.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right.
For 7 years, Paul has been battling advanced skin cancer. Nothing has stopped this aggressive disease. But he's now been given access to a new vaccine at Southampton's Clinical Trials Unit. His results have been incredibly promising.
The tumours, they've all shrunk. Every time I go for a scan, they seem to be shrinking, which is very exciting for me and for the team, because I think the largest tumour when I started was 15 millimetres, and it's now down to 3 millimetres on the latest scan. So there is hope.
The vaccine is designed to trigger our own body's immune response, T cells which seek out, attack and destroy cancer cells.
One of the big problems about cancer is it comes back and spreads to other parts of the body. So the point of getting the immune system to recognise it is to stop it coming back in people who've already had an operation but where there's a risk it will regrow.
This work is part of the NHS Cancer Vaccine Launchpad, a programme that aims to fast-track eligible patients to new treatments at their nearest hospitals.
We found the Cancer Vaccine Launchpad has been highly successful in other areas. So in colorectal cancer, we screened 3,000 patients to go into a colorectal vaccine study. And what it meant is across England, 60% of colorectal cancer patients had access to these new state-of-the-art cancer vaccines. And we hope to do the same with melanoma.
The results have been so positive, the treatment is being expanded. The Department of Health and Social Care is looking to roll this out across the country.
We've got brilliant researchers and academics working on these sorts of issues. Myself, I had a diagnosis of melanoma a year or so ago in a very good centre. I didn't need to be part of this sort of trial, but being available trials wherever you go is really important for people. I think people want to be part of the trials. They want to be part of the solution for some of these treatments.
To take part, melanoma patients need a blood test to look at how the immune system works, which varies from person to person.
I'm lucky it's just come at the right time for me, and I hope that everybody else gets an opportunity to do this.
The first new patients to be fast-tracked into this trial will begin in May, with the aim of many more participants by the autumn. Alastair Fee, BBC South Today.
Well, Professor Simon Crabb is an oncologist at University Hospital Southampton and is leading the cancer vaccine trial. He joined me in the studio earlier and I asked him how much of a game changer this vaccine could be.
We're hoping to deliver a better treatment for people with advanced melanoma. Melanoma has been historically quite a difficult disease to treat, but we've made quite big strides over the last 10 years. And a lot of that has been about giving immunotherapy drugs, which we hope will activate the immune system and allow it to attack the cancer. What we're doing in this clinical trial is a two-pronged approach. So we're going to give the immunotherapy and activate the immune system, but then in addition, patients also receive an experimental cancer vaccine that is targeted against two proteins that melanoma cells normally express. What we hope that does is essentially stimulate the immune system and tell it these cells are foreign, you should attack them.
Why can it only be used on patients with advanced skin cancer?
So this is an experimental treatment at the moment. So this is an early phase trial. We're going to treat overall probably just over 100 patients. And what we're looking for are two things. Firstly, safety. We need to make sure that this is safe for patients and that we understand the potential side effects. But then also we want to know, do we get better responses and do they last longer? And if that's the case, then this will roll out into a much larger study to understand whether we should treat people with advanced melanoma routinely. If that's the case, then inevitably, yes, you start asking the questions beyond that. Could we give it to people with early stage disease? And does that allow you potentially to increase cure rates?
So if there are people watching who think, I want to be on that trial, how can they get involved?
Patients that have advanced melanoma who are being treated in Southampton will be given the opportunity to consider taking part in this study if they're eligible, and we hope that that will accelerate and give opportunity for patients actually potentially across the whole NHS, so that we can offer the trial to more patients, increase the rate at which the trial occurs, and therefore hopefully we get the answer quicker. And we hope also that that makes the UK attractive for doing these sorts of studies in the first place.
This comes against the backdrop of rising rates of skin cancer. What's your best piece of advice to people to avoid the risks of getting it?
The key thing is sun exposure. We know that people's sun exposure over their lifetime is the key risk for whether or not they will develop a melanoma. So people should be cautious. As we go into the summer, we'd like people to think about how much exposure they have to the sunlight. High factor sun creams, be in the shade, wear a hat. These things really do make a difference.
OK, Professor Simon Crabb, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.